Take it away, Mr. Moore.
It's rolling?
Oh, yeah.
So, all right, so this is going to video my perspective of teaching you guys. So, and then Loki's going to put this up, and then you guys can check it out later. I'll tell you the link, like, tomorrow. So since we just had Johnny V with us, what I wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about today is the concept of taking a very simple sticking and learning how to utilize it in a lot of different musical ways. And I don't think Johnny covered this too much while he was here. So this will be fun for us to cover this. And if any of you guys take private lessons with him, you'll be able to ask him further about this. So I'm going to ask everybody who does have pads to kind of hold off while I'm talking, if we can wait. And then we're all going to play together in just about a minute. So one of the things that I learned from Johnny was this concept of taking something that's a very simple, basic idea and learning how to move it around the drums and apply it in a very musical way. So one of the things that Johnny taught me was this sticking that I've come to use, and if you guys have taken any lessons from me, or if you've seen any of my DVDs or encountered me in any way, you've probably seen me demonstrate this a little bit. But I want to get into this just a little bit, and then over the weekend, you guys can experiment with this a little bit. You can ask me questions about it. You can try to develop your own way of doing this as well. So the sticking, you're probably already familiar with it, but we're going to talk about it a little bit and then try to develop it here now. So just to start from the beginning and refresh for those of you who have already seen it, or introduce those who are not yet familiar, we're going to start with it, and I'm going to split it up with in between the hi-hat, snare drum, and bass drum. So this is going to be familiar to some of you, but it might be new to some of you as well. It's right, right, left, right, right, left, right, left, right, right, left, right, right, left, right, left, right, right, left, right, right, left, right, left, right, right, left, right, right, left, right, left. Play along now. All right, keep playing. So, one of the cool things about this is that the right foot follows the right hand. This is the three side of the clave like Johnny was talking about earlier, right? So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, and 3, 4, 1, 2, and 3, 4, three sides of the clave. All right, keep playing. So, what I'm going to do is, we're going to pick it up in tempo, not yet, but we're going to pick it up in tempo in a minute. When I get up to the tempo I want, I'm going to move it over to the snare drum. Then, by changing the accents, I'm going to be able to get all kinds of different grooves. I'll get like a mambo, New Orleans second line type of thing. Then I'll accent the left hand, and I'll be able to get the traditional New Orleans second line accents. Then I'll accent the left hand and the right hand, and I'll be able to get a train beat that's pretty cool too. That's all going to be just on the snare drum, okay? So, here we go again. And then I'll start in tempo, and then I'll start gradually increasing the tempo, move to the snare drum, and get all kinds of different things just by changing the accents. Here we go, pick it up. Okay? Cool. So now, with the same sticking, we can, yes? Yeah, it's hard for me to see without my glasses, so. Yep. The sticking again is right, right, left, right, right, left, right, left, right, right, left, right, right, left, right, left. Now, you can think of this in a couple different ways, and I like to always think of things in a lot of different ways. That way I more deeply understand it. You can think of it as right, right, left, right, right, left, right, left. That's one way to think of it. Or you can think of it as right, right, left, right, which is a reverse paradiddle, and then right, left, which is single stroke rolls. So reverse paradiddle, then single stroke roll. Or you can think of it as two right lefts and a right left. But as Johnny V would tell you, don't think about it at all. But I'm trying to give you a way to understand it and internalize it and relate to it and realize that, wait a minute, this is familiar. I know this already. I've seen this before. Just trying to give you different ways to assimilate it into your system so that you can get to not thinking about it quicker, right? Now, what we're going to do is take this and split it up around the drums. So what I would do, I would have lessons with Johnny, and I would go over to his house, and I often had seen him play the night before, and I would say, man, that was so cool, that beat that you played on Caravan last night. And he's like, last night? What was last night? Where was I last night? Oh, yeah, that's right. So he would say, well, was it this? Or I'd say, well, no, it wasn't that. So, well, was it this? I said, no, it wasn't that. And he would say, was it this thing? I'd say, oh, yeah, that was it. That's what you were doing. He says, oh, okay, well, I think it was this. And he'll show me the beat, right? Right? So I'm like, man, that's killer. That's great. I love that. So I started messing around with it. I started realizing I was going to all these little jam sessions and things around town and little gigs, and cats would be calling tunes, and I wouldn't know what to play on the tunes. So, I'd be going on Sundays to the Young People's Jazz Forum at Tipitina's. And, to sidetrack a little bit, I'd be going to this thing, I'd be going to watch Johnny Vodakovich play with a trio, and then he would get up the kids, and the kids that were getting up to sit in at the time were Nicholas Payton, Jason Marcellus, myself, Jeff Clapp, who's a great drummer here in town. And so Johnny would play with a trio for a few tunes, and then they would get the kids to come up. And this was in the afternoon, between 1 and 4 in the afternoon, on Sundays at Tipitina's, and it was called the Young People's Jazz Forum. And I would sit there on the stage, and I would look up into the rafters, and in the middle of the afternoon, all the lights up there were off. There was nobody up there. And I would look up in there, and I'd say, man, one day I'm going to headline Tipitina's, and I'm going to look up there, and I'm going to see tons of people up there. And tonight I'm headlining Tipitina's with Dragon Smoke. And so, you know, I think it's important to have a goal and then a dream, and then you follow that dream, right? So I'm sitting there on the stage at Tipitina's at 16, 17 years old. Cats are getting up there and saying, you know, Caravan, B flat, And at the time, at that age, I was like, oh my God, Caravan, do I play this on the bass drum? Do I play this on the bass drum? And then what exercise from what book do I play up here? And by that time, they had started the tune and I'm left in the dust, right? So after getting a few lessons with Johnny, I was like, oh, thank God. Now I have something that I can actually play, that I can play the Caravan. So cats are called Caravan. Ba, ba da bo do da dee da da. Da 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 da. Same sticking right here. Same sticking again. And you're off to the bridge and you're safe for 8 bars, right? So when Johnny showed me the sticking, I was like, oh man, great. I've got all these different snare drum things to play. I've got all these different cool Afro-Latin type of things that I can play. St. Thomas, turn off the snares, and you can get different things that you could play for something like St. Thomas. Same sticking here. Right? Night in Tunisia. Zigga-da-goo, zigga-ga-ga-da, zigga-da-goo, dun-dun, zigga-da-goo, dun, zigga-ga-ga-da. Right? So then Johnny encouraged me to go home and come up with my own fingerprint on things, come up with my own interpretations of things, my own variations, and my own way of doing things, so that eventually I would develop my own voice, and when I played on records, people would be able to say, ah, that's Stanton, right? So what I did was I literally went home and practiced this sticking for 2 or 3 decades, and have come up with all kinds of different things. So initially, I started coming up with variations on the actual sticking, and we'll get into that a little bit later. But over time, I started coming up with putting the hands in different places, coming up with different things. At the time, what I had at my disposal was mixing bowls. I think at the time that Johnny showed me this, I had spent a year in the dorms at Loyola. And then I was back at my parents' for a few months before I wound up getting an apartment. So I was at my parents' house, and I would start raiding their cabinets and pulling out mixing bowls and glass Pyrex dishes and frying pans and putting them on TV trays and just messing around with stuff. So over time now, I've got all this Pete Engelhardt stuff and different ponderos and cowbells and bongos. And so now what I'll do is, just for kicks, I'll start kind of improvising for you guys with this sticking and showing you some of the things that I've either come up with in the past or I'm going to come up for the first time today, right? So I'm just going to improvise and see what happens. Some of this will be stuff that I've already done, and hopefully some of it will be stuff that I haven't done yet, right? So let's just start off with the sticking, and then get into some different things. And if you feel comfortable playing the sticking at the tempo I'm going to play it, then play along with me too. Here we go. Cool. And you saw, I kind of got hung up for a second over here. That was totally new. I was like, wow, that's new. That's cool. And I went, whoa, that's kind of, and I got back on track. But my point is, even to this day, I'm still coming up with new stuff to do with that one simple sticking that Johnny Vodakovich showed me over 20 years ago. So I find an absolute beauty in finding simple musical ideas that work really, really well in many different contexts when applied musically. It doesn't have to be complicated to be musical, right? Cool. So now with that sticking, I mean, we're gonna continue talking about stickings and this sticking in particular. Oh, hey, Steve. Okay, Steve's helping me out with the sound issues that we're having. Oh, let's see. Yeah. So what was I doing wrong? Can I look at these?
Yeah, I'm just going to leave this cable with you.
ma'am.
Just
Okay.
On that, let me grab my glass and see how its charge is holding up.
Okay, cool.
All right, so while he's doing that, say hello to the internet, everybody.
What's up, Internet?
What a fine collection of percussionists here.